All right, hello wine-drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and I'm always happy to see people with champagne, no matter whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or after dinner. You know, champagne is the perfect beverage, and I'm still wonderfully surprised at how inexpensive we can find some of the great wines of champagne here in this country. You know, it's very expensive to make this product because it undergoes 2 fermentations, and then they have a series of blending that they have to do to make most champagnes. And oftentimes the wines take 5 to 6 years or more to make it to the market. That is an incredible investment in time in that bottle. And, you know, the difference between champagne and every other sparkling wine obviously is the reason this white chalk soils. And, man, if you saw the pictures of the vineyard sites where these wines come from, I mean, incredible. Charles Fourny was here in the store to share with me some of his family's secrets and what makes his champagnes unique. And freshness is one of the things he wanted to really impart about these wines. And, you know, when you get a bottle of champagne, don't put it in your closet and think of some wonderful occasion to drink it. You know, find an occasion to drink it, because when they release these wines, they're ready to drink. You don't need to age them anymore. Put them in your refrigerator and drink them on Saturday night. Well, drink them on Monday night. Drink them any night of the week. And, you know, one of the things you'll find also is if you let these great wines from champagne open up, they're going to be better on the second day. Don't put it in the freezer and chill it down to where, you know, you're not going to be able to taste it and then drink the whole bottle down in 10 minutes. These great wines took a long time to make. So when you open them up, you know, drink half the bottle the first night, half the bottle the second night, and just see how this wine changes from the first night to the second night. I think you'll find that champagnes like Fourny are going to be even better on the second day after they're open. You may lose a little effervescence, but you do get back in complexity, because these are just like any other fine wine. Once they've been in that bottle for that long, they need a little time to stretch their legs. And the Vueve Fourny Brut Premier Blanc de Blanc is 3 different vintages, and, you know, they do have a lot number on the back, but it's still impossible to tell what the vintages are by the bottle. One of the things I beg people from Champagne to do is to put that information on the bottle. We want to know, us connoisseurs of fine bubbles, if we're getting the same cuvee as last year. And, you know, that is the art in Champagne, though, to create a consistent product year in and year out. Charles assures me that this cuvee is 08, 09, and 2010 vintage, and the dosage about 6 grams per liter, which is light. They could call this an extra dry, because, you know, it's I guess right on the border of that level. And their vineyards are in Vertu, but they do say negociant on the label because they want to have the ability to buy fruit if they need to. They haven't in any of these wines. They only use first pressing juice. It's kept for 36 months entourage. The law is only 15 months it has to be kept. They keep it 6 months on the sediment, and they stir it up in the barrels to give this wine richness, and start part stainless and part oak, but old oak. And they buy white Burgundy barrels that have been used 3 times. And this wine's got a lovely bouquet of quince, pear, tree fruits, hints of ginger spice, and pretty floral notes. And notes of that minerality, that white chalk, really come through in all of these wines. And the average age of the vineyards are 42 years old. Charles says that definitely helps the minerality, because the root systems go down very deep to get the nourishment that they need. This one has a lovely fine mousse on the tongue. And Charles also mentioned that Chardonnay has a smaller bubbles than Pinot Noir does. I never noticed that before, but I definitely noticed these are tiny bubbles that give you the impression of satin on your tongue. And really lovely freshness in this wine, a zesty finish, lemon, citrus, vanilla, and a good amount of that minerality showing through at the end. For $49.50, excellent juice at under $50. Anyways, the second wine, the Millésime Brut Blanc de Blanc, 2006. This wine's also aged for 6 months in vats on the sediment, and for 3 years entourage. And this is from an east-facing vineyard site on pure chalk soils here. Wonderful intensity on the nose. You get that strong mineral presence here, that chalky mineral nuance of the green apple Jolly Rancher like candy fruit, lemon lime citrus, notes of almond, and kind of fresh leaven bread, yeasty-like notes. Very complex bouquet here. A little bit more development here. A really lovely, smoothie, creamy texture on the tongue. Fine bubbles with lovely freshness, that chalky mineral-laced nuance through the finish, and that citrus and vanilla and ginger spice, along with everything else. Most excellent juice, this 2006 Blanc de Blanc. All right, next up is the Rosé Premier Cru, which we have on the shelf here. And this is the only place in the Côte de Blanc that has Pinot Noir, I learned on this visit here. And 20% of the wine is Pinot, 80% is Chardonnay. And they mix the red wine in with the white wine. There's two ways you can make rosé. You can do a saignée, which is you leave the juice in contact with the skins for a short period of time. Or you can just make a red wine and blend it in with the white wine, which is what they do here. It's much easier to make a consistent wine like that. And this wine is stays in oak for 6 months, and they add the red to the Blanc de Noir to support the fruity taste of the reds, and 6 grams of residual sugar, so they could also call this wine an extra brut. This wine's got a lovely smoky nuance to it that the other two wines didn't seem to have. Red berry fruit, raspberries, and then strawberries, fine bubbles, and this wine also has a lively creaminess to the palate and a long finish. You notice that chalky minerality showing through that red berry fruit in this wine also. Excellent juice at 57.50. And then the R Extra, which does R stand for reserve? I don't know. It's a blend of 07 and 08 vintage wines. This wine spends 4 years on tirage, and it takes 6 years to make this cuvee in total from start to finish. So, like I said, a huge investment. And when you look at the price of this wine, still relatively reasonable. When you think 6 years, $62.50 a bottle. Wow. Anyways, this wine is 90% Chardonnay, 10% Pinot Noir, and it's a lovely bouquet of almond, kind of ginger spice, fresh tree fruits, that chalky minerality showing through here as well. The style of the house, as I mentioned before, based on fresh fruits, and the aspect of that minerality as well. And only 3 grams of residual sugar in this wine, so it is an extra brut. A very richness to the palate, though, still, and really complex wines with layers of that fresh fruit, ginger spice, almond, and that toasty, biscuity nuance showing through the finish. Lemon zest, hazelnuts, really lovely complexity and lovely layers on the finish. Most excellent juice as well. That's what we had to drink with our friends from Vueve Fourny. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.